Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the CanUSA, CanUSA show.
CanUSA.
That's how, when I first texted it to you, that's how I thought I would pronounce it, CanUSA. Because there's a street, I know there's a street called CanUSA Street. I can't remember if it's where the Canadian Embassy is in the States or if it's where the American Embassy is in Canada.
Huh. I never knew that.
Hello, everybody. I guess I'm starting this episode. I am Joey Langdon.
I'm Robert Tomlinson.
And today we have episode 4, I believe, of the CanUSA Olympic show.
Yep, that's correct.
Today, a lot to talk about.
Boy, do we.
We might as well start with the controversy on the ice dance.
Yeah.
Robert, you probably have more insight on this than I have.
Yeah, so apparently a lot of Canadian fans are upset at the ice dancing scores that they received for their participants. Who are the names again?
Tessa Virtue and Scott Moore are the Canadian participants.
Yes. Thank you. Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer. They're claiming that the jury, the judges, were rigged in favor of the U.S.
I can totally see where they're coming from, because, A, it's already been rumored that there's a United States and Russian collaboration, if you will, to try and get medals. And Canadians are used to this happening in figure skating. This did happen in 2002, where we were hosed out of a medal by the French judge. Just saying the French judge makes every Canadian cringe.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I have no recollection of this whatsoever, so you're the expert on this 2002 thing.
Alright, I'll read you the story. In 2002, the figure skating pairs competition, this was not ice dance, this was straight up figure skating pairs.
Alright.
Elena Berezhina and Anton Sikwardzidze of Russia won the short program over Jamie Salé and David Peltier of Canada. During the short program, Salé and Peltier had fallen on their closing pose, but it was not an element, so could not receive a deduction. However, they still were in second place going into the long program. In the free skate, Berezhina and Sikwardzidze made a minor yet obvious technical error when Sikwardzidze stepped out of a double axel. Meanwhile, Salé and Peltier opted to skate a free skate program they had used in previous seasons that had been well received. They skated a flawless program, although one some experts consider to be a slightly lesser difficulty than the Russians. Salé and Peltier received 5.9s and 5.8s for technical, while the Russians received mostly 5.8s and 5.7s. However, the Canadians only received only 4 5.9s for presentation versus the Russians 7. And since presentation was weighted more heavily than technical, the Canadians needed at least 5 5.9s to overtake the Russians, since they did not receive that many. Berezhina and Sikwardzidze took the gold, while Canadians won silver. During the live broadcast, both the American and Canadian announcers proclaimed that Salé and Peltier would win as they finished their routine, and both expressed outrage when the Canadians' marks were announced.
Wow.
More so the NBC judges. There's immediate suspicion of cheating. According to ABC's Good Morning America and USA Today, judges from Russia, China, Poland, Ukraine, and France had placed the Russians first, while the judges from the United States, Canada, Germany, and Japan chose the Canadians. Suspicion fell quickly on the French judge, Marie-Reine Leguin. When Leguin returned to the officials' hotel, Sally Stapleford, chair of the International Skating Union's technical committee, confronted her. Leguin had an emotional breakdown in which she allegedly said she had been pressured by the French skating organization, president of the French skating organization, Didier Galliguet, to vote for the Russian pair regardless of how the others performed.
Wow.
She reportedly repeated this at the post-event judges meeting the next day. It was alleged this was a part of a deal to get an advantage for the French couple, Marianne Assina and Gwendel Pezerat, in the ice dance competition that was to follow a couple days later. However, later in a signed statement, Leguin denied taking part in such a deal. The Canadian press and public were outraged by the result, and the American press were quick to take up the cause of the Canadian pair. NBC in particular continued to play up the story and advocate the Canadians' cause. Some in the United States and many in Russia, however, felt that Berezhina and Sikwardzidze felt they should felt they deserved their win and should not be marred by the dishonesty of a single judge. In response to the Canadian-American outcry, ISU President Otavio Cinquenta announced a press conference a day after the competition in which ISU would conduct an internal assessment. Ron Fenning, the referee, had filed an official complaint about the judging. Later on February 13th, the IOC Director General Francois Carrard held a press conference in which he publicly urged the ISU to resolve the matter as quickly as possible. On February 15th, Cinquenta and IOC President Jacques Rouge, in a joint press conference, announced that Salé and Peltier's silver medal will be upgraded to a gold, while Brezna and Security will be allowed to keep their gold medal as well, since there was no evidence of wrongdoing on their part.
Well, how about that?
So, yeah, so you can see where we're coming from when we get hosed out of a medal in silver, at least allegedly.
That is interesting.
So, yes.
So it has happened before, but I'll have to admit that both of them did a very good job. And honestly, the scores could have gone either way. I mean, I could have easily seen Moyer and Virtue winning over Charlie White and Merrill Davis, but I could also have seen Charlie White and Merrill Davis win over Teresa and Scott.
Yeah, I could definitely, they did have a great performance.
And I would have been all right with that either way. I'll be a little disappointed if White and Davis finished second, but yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely, they skated a good performance, but...
Both of them did.
Yeah, and White and Davis, they did have a perfect routine, albeit maybe their perfect is slightly less than Virtue Moyer's perfect in the long program, but it was still, at least on par, and that gave them the win over Moyer and Virtue. But you can see where the Canadians are coming from too, because this has happened before, and there's already rumors about Americans and Russians voting for each other.
Yeah. But we all know what rumors are, and until they're proved, we can't really tell anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. And also, I have to mention that Moyer and Virtue finished second again in today's ice dancing performance, and White and Davis finished first.
That was what it was. It was the two events combined that probably brought on the controversy itself.
Okay. So with that, we move on now to one of the premier events from Saturday morning. And I woke up early for this because DirecTV finally came to their senses and gave us a free trial of NBC Sports Network. Thank the Lord above. And I got to see the USA-Russia men's hockey match. Best decision I've ever made.
I saw one of my favorite clips of that game. I'll probably put a link to this in the maybe you could put a link to this in the description, but someone matched up TJ Oshie taking 6 or so shootout attempts in a row, and matched up to
Herb Brooks.
Yeah, Herb Brooks.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. That was kind of hilarious.
Yeah,
and fitting.
Yeah, but it's not unheard of, especially in Europe, because I don't remember which it was, but it was when Jonathan Toews was competing in the World Junior Championship. I believe it was taking place in Sweden, and Toews took, against the Americans, 5 shootout attempts in a row, scored on all 5.
Wow.
And he was our only shooter.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. And, of course, we bring up TJ Oshie because he made 4 out of 6 attempts in the shootout against Bobrovsky of Russia.
Sergei, I gotta move my mic away. Sergei Bobrovsky. Thank you, Jay Andre.
Yeah. And I like how Dan Patrick from NBC did the announcement. Did the highlight reel of his shootout performance. He's coming in slowly, and he scores! Taking his time, and he scores! Yeah. So that was good. Also, I tweeted this out a couple times, even Facebooked this, but I had I had to do this. It's the first thing that came to my mind. Oshie, Oshie, Oshie! Oi, oi, oi! And I'm sorry for all the Australians I've just defended.
Well,
We are alienating countries in this program, aren't we?
do you want me to alienate any more? It's called the CanUSA Olympic Show, everybody. Canada, USA. There, I alienated everyone but two.
Yeah, we probably. Yeah, I think this is the first time we've alienated a specific country, and we apologize for that in advance.
Well, do you know what's better and cheesier than that one? One of my friends, we watched the game, and at least watched the highlights, and my friend looked at me with the biggest grin and went, "Oh, she didn't."
Ha ha ha! Oh, that's good. That's good.
I may have glared at him, but I laughed later.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and another thing that happened in that game, which kind of caused a little bit of controversy, Russia's apparent third goal was disallowed by the referees because of a replay that had the goal coming off of its moorings ever so slightly before the goal was scored.
Yeah,
It appeared that it was because USA goalie Jonathan Quick ran into it.
As a referee myself, as an ice hockey referee myself, it was the correct call, but it's a very hard call to make.
Yes, especially because there's replay on it as well. But a lot of the Russia players called out Quick as a cheater the very same day after the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even some of Quick's own teammates that were on the Russia team.
Yeah, you could definitely see where they're coming from on that one.
Yeah, definitely, because if he can get it away with that one time, who's to say he can't do it again?
True.
Yep, and of course, because that goal was disallowed, we had the shootout and the eventual game-winning shots by the USA.
By the way, the referees in that game it was an American and a Swede, plus the linesmen were 2 Canadians.
Yeah, I saw something. I saw that about the U.S. ref being in that game, and I saw that they were that some Russian fans hung a sign on the U.S. embassy there. And
do you want to know what's even stranger? Do you know what's even worse?
What's even worse?
In the Canada-Finland game, which Canada was able to come up with 2-1 in overtime, the referees were Anton Jerebik of the Czech Republic. The other referee was Kevin Pollock of Canada. Okay, one Canadian referee. The linesman, Ivan Dedulida of Belarus. But the other linesman was Brad Kovacik, actually from my hometown of Woodstock, Canada. So that means there was 2 Canadians officiating the Canadian game. And then against Austria, two Canadians again, 1 referee, 1 linesman. Canada versus Norway, just 1 Canadian, Mike Lego, but he's my least favorite referee of all of them, so we'll forget about that. He screwed over the Red Wings a few too many times.
All right. And because of the USA's win over Russia and their subsequent win over Slovenia the next day, the men's hockey seedings were announced. And here they are in order. You have Sweden is the number 1 seed, USA is number 2, Canada number 3, Finland number 4, Russia is number 5, Switzerland 6, Czech Republic 7, Slovenia 8, Austria 9, Slovakia 10, Latvia 11, and Norway in 12th.
How about that Slovenia finishing above Slovakia?
Yeah.
Who predicted that coming into the Olympics?
I don't know, but I don't think they predicted the lime green on their jerseys.
Oh, that was beautiful.
It's the power of the lime green, I tell you.
Yeah. So Slovenia, high seed going into their qualification game. Again, who predicted that? They would end up against Sweden if they beat Austria. Russia, Norway, probably going to be Russia winning that game.
Definitely. Norway in 12th in anything is kind of surprising given these Olympics so far.
Yes. Winner of that place is Finland. Switzerland and Latvia. That is actually a game to watch because Latvia could come up with an upset against Switzerland. Switzerland's gotten a few lucky breaks this tournament, and Latvia's gotten the short stick a few times. I could see Latvia pulling off an upset there. Winner of that faces Canada. and then the Czech Republic and Slovakia, two teams that could. Czech Republic actually picked for the bronze medal. If you want to go back and listen to a few podcasts ago, they would face against the United States.
Yeah. I'm interested in that Switzerland Slovakia, is it, game? Latvia. Yeah, Switzerland Latvia. Yes. Yeah, Switzerland's Jonas Hiller, their goalie, has 2 shutouts already in these games, and I think Switzerland's only scored 3-4 goals in this entire Olympics and still won 2 games? That's pretty good.
Switzerland, this is their goals for, goals against. This is what most teams get in one game. They have 2 goals for and 1 goal against.
Wow. In the whole Olympics?
Yes. They played
I thought it was more than that. I thought they scored 1 or 2 in their last game.
Switzerland has played Latvia before. The only goal in the game was with 8 seconds remaining. Moser of Switzerland was able to beat Latvia with 8 seconds remaining. So Latvia could very well get a goal. All they need really is 1 goal, and they beat Switzerland right there. They have no offensive support this tournament.
Yeah, but Hiller's a really tough goalie in these Olympics, it seems. I could see this going to a shootout.
What about Reto Berra? If Hiller's unable to play, do you think Reto Berra could still hold the floodgates?
I'm not sure. It'd have to be Hiller starting.
Okay. And
yeah. So Sweden, USA, Canada, and Finland also got byes to the next round, just so you know.
Yes. And speaking of Canada and USA easily getting byes, let's go over to women's hockey, shall we?
Yeah, let's go over to that.
By the way, my Japanese team lost to Russia in the 5th, 8th place semis, so they'll be playing against Germany for 7th. Maybe. But over to the quarterfinals. Switzerland beat Russia 2-0, which Switzerland, not a very good tournament. That just shows you the strength of the B pool. Finland, the third place in A, lost to second place in B, 4-2. Sweden won that one. And as I mentioned...
Finland!
I'm sorry?
Finland! Sorry, I had to throw the SpongeBob reference in there.
I was going to say...
I'm sorry.
Welcome to the CanUSA show, where we reference literally every show ever made.
Yeah.
And then over to the semifinal. Canada beat Swinland. Oh my God. Switzerland, 3-1. Swinland, that sounds like a place where nobody should go. The United States beat Sweden 6-1, setting up another gold medal game between Canada and USA. Gee, who would have predicted that?
Not us. Not us.
Let's flash back a couple episodes ago, shall we? And showing their foregone conclusion in losing to Canada USA in the semis, I believe was our exact words.
I think so.
Gold medal game will take place in 3 days from now. So on the 20th, if you're watching later and can't understand which day. So, predictions, Canada, USA, gold medal game. I obviously got my Canadian team.
Why are we even doing predictions? Everybody knows who we're going to be predicting.
Well, we might as well hear our reasons for our predictions.
Yeah.
We beat the United States earlier in these Olympics. Canada has got a fire-packed lineup, along with 3 extremely competent goalies that we could turn to at any point. The probable starter will be Shannon Svatos. And Haley Wickenheiser still, even in her, I think her 4th Olympics, could still pack a punch and really push Canada over the edge.
Okay, valid points there. But I think that the USA loss to Canada was a bit of a fluke in the prelim round. Now, I have a feeling that this will fire up the U.S., that loss, and they're going to come back and win this, let's see, 3-1.
Yeah, but who on the Americans can, I'm sure that, the Americans already have a great lineup, but do you think that they can match up to every one of the Canadian players who plays high-level women's hockey, either in professional or college, and where you have the some of the American players who play low-level men's hockey?
It'll be tough, but I think it's gonna be. I think it'll be doable.
All right. So moving on.
Yeah, let's move on.
It's weird being the host of this show.
I know. It's because you started the recording, man.
Moving on. So, Jamaican bobsled got to do their thing. Two-man bobsled happened. That was an event I think we were both looking forward to just to see how that worked.
Yeah. Yeah, how did the Jamaican team do, by the way?
1 second. My computer is very slow.
Yeah, aren't a lot of computers.
At the 2014, there we go. Two-man. All right. The Jamaican bobsled team finished in 29th. But they were not last because the Serbians decided not to run their third. So they were last, kind of, sort of, but not last. They're the last of the teams who finished.
Well, there we go. And then Disney shall make cool runnings too, and everything will be better.
Maybe we can make up a story of them actually getting a medal.
Maybe. Hey, if Disney can do that, then anything can happen.
Oh, by the way, something I wanted to mention. I was mistaken during last recording. I'm not sure if this made the show or not, but I did decide to look up and find out what Australia's first gold medal was ever. Oh, man.
What was it?
In 2002 for speed skating, there was a guy, why can't I think of his name right now? But I'll think of it later, where in the first round he was able to skate cleanly. He got second, he moved on to the next round. Next round, quarterfinal, he figured he's not fast enough, I'll stay back, wait for these guys to crash into each other because they're all very angry at each other.
And then they crashed into each other.
Finished second, moved on to the next round. Semi-final. Stands back. Guys crash into each other, but he finishes third. He's upset that they look back and say Canadians disqualified. So he ends up going to the final. Anyways, then he stands back. He's like 15 meters behind. And then literally just everyone falls over. Apollo Ono was in this, as we mentioned. And they all fall over. And then he's just way back. You see him skate in through stepping over all the bodies and just coasting over the finish line. Just his arms up like, oh my God!
Wow.
That just happened.
Wow.
And then it cuts back to the finish line, and Antonono and the Canadian just get up and dive over the finish line like, I'm going to get a medal at least!
Yeah! Wow. That is the exact definition of dumb luck.
Yeah.
That is pure, unadulterated luck.
And the best part, he's talking after the quarterfinal. It shows him talking to his coach, like they actually got this, and the coach says, "Okay, you're definitely not as fast as these guys. Why don't you stay in fifth, and hopefully one of them crash into each other." And then it kept happening, past the quarters, past the semis, past the finals, and got gold. First ever gold for Australia in the Winter Olympics.
Wow. That's a heck of a story about Australia's first gold medal.
Yeah, that's something you should show your kids.
Yep. Moving on. Men's Super G. That's a couple days ago or so.
A tie?
Yes, a tie. There was a tie for bronze in the men's Super G a couple days ago. Between Bodie Miller of the U.S. and another person, which I can't remember.
Jan Dudek of Canada.
Yes.
See, we can get along.
Yeah, we can get along. Yeah. And there's really no great word we can make up to represent a tie for bronze.
Instead of silver, bronze, bronze, iron, platinum.
Platinum's better than gold.
Bronze, copper.
Oh, well.
Bronze, stone.
I don't know.
Bronze fourth. Let's just call it bronze fourth.
Bronze fourth. Yeah, let's go with bronze fourth. Copyright 2014 CanUSA Olympic show. Okay. Yeah. But another thing that happened after the Super G, Bodie Miller with an interview with NBC, it felt like to a lot of people watching that the reporter was pressing him about questions about his brother who passed away last April due to a seizure.
That's a good story. That's what he's thinking. That's what he's thinking. Like, okay, he finished bronze. He tied for bronze. How am I going to make a story about this? Oh, how's your dead brother doing?
Yeah. But a lot of people were very upset about this, and
as they should.
Yeah, as they should. But who else to step up to the reporters? Who I can't remember her name right now. I apologize. I'll probably edit this in like an annotation. But who better to step up to defend her than Bodie Miller himself, who did so on Twitter yesterday.
I'm trying to clap as close to the mic as possible, but it's a headset, so...
Yeah. Saying to lay off her, she did what she had to do, heat of the moment and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. So, moving on. Coming up in the next couple days.
I'll bring up the schedule. I forgot that was my responsibility again. All right. So, on Tuesday the 18th, we have alpine skiing, women's giant slalom medal event, biathlon, men's 15-kilometer medal event. Oh, it says rescheduled. That might be, I'm not sure if that means moved to then or moved, I don't know. Bobsled, women's 2-woman. That is the first two runs, not a middle event yet. Curling, the men's tiebreaker. Just Norway and Great Britain.
A tie?
I love that. That's the Dishnet kid I know. Freestyle skiing, men's half-pipe. That is another medal event. Men's hockey, the qualification games. My mouse is glitching out right. Here we go. Men's qualification game, Slovenia versus Austria, Russia versus Norway, and Switzerland versus Latvia, as well as the Czech Republic versus Sweden. And if you are interested in any of these women's teams, you might want to watch the 7th place game between Japan and Germany, or the 5th place game between Russia and Finland.
Yeah, and I bet you want the people to go for the Japan game as well.
Nordic combined. As if you do not know, that is ski jumping and cross country combined. There will be a medal event after the cross country portion. Short track speed skating. Women's 3,000 meter relay finals. Snowboarding, snowboard cross finals for men's. And speed skating, 10,000 meter men's.
That's a long way.
That is a long way. 10,000 meters seems pretty far, but they got planes and trains and cars. The CanUSA show, everybody. We reference literally everything.
Nice CanUSA reference.
Welcome to the Reference Olympics show, everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's just a taste of what's coming up next couple days.
Yes, sir. And might as well, as I mentioned, I will preview the curling events for men's. The teams that made it for men's, Sweden, Canada, China, and then as mentioned, Norway and Great Britain, or Norway, Scotland, tie. Again, as I mentioned, I think this is the only event. Great Britain is solely represented by Scotland. And the winner of that will play against Sweden. Canada, China will play against each other. They actually had a tough battle the other day, which Canada came out on top 9-8. In the women's, there was no ties. Well, there was a tie for third and a tie for fifth, but that is fruitless. Canada in first, Sweden in second, Switzerland in third, and Great Britain or Scotland finishing fourth. Great Britain still holding that record. They will play Canada, which is an interesting semifinal game, because that's who I would have picked to go to the finals in women's.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what's coming up for curling. The United States was able to get 2 wins in men's, and 1 win in women. So they did not finish winless, so that's something you can take home.
There's something. Yep. So there's all that for tomorrow then. So let's wrap it up. Do you have any final thoughts?
Go Canada, go, and might as well make this a long final thought. I got nothing.
Yep. Well, you know me. I am the king of long final thoughts.
And I am merely a peasant in this world.
Yeah.
But I am
Going back
the
to that ice dancing controversy yesterday and today, there is a petition out now to stop the fixed scores in Olympic ice dance. I am quoting this word for word. This is from a Canadian. So, I appeal to all of your consciences. If you love ice skating and want fair results, please do not stand aside to the outrageous scores of the short dance. There were rumors about biased judges, and now those rumors have become a real concern. We have to get together and make our voices heard. ISU itself is the only body that can bring complaints to the disciplinary committee to start an inquiry into the matter. Hence, we have to contact them and bring our complaints and concerns to their attention. Please sign this petition to complain about the unfair marking. We need to help Tessa and Scott get justice and all the other skaters that have been and may be affected by an unjust and biased system. Share it as much as you can. Hashtag together for hashtag Tessa and Scott.
Was that a random exclamation mark there that where you yelled out sign?
No, that was just in all caps.
Oh, well, still. So, I guess if you agree, sign it. If you don't agree, don't sign it. If you agree but just would rather seethe, I guess don't sign it, like me.
Yeah. So there's that. So let's wrap it up here. I'm Robert Tomlinson.
I am Joey Langdon.
And we'll see you next time on the CanUSA Olympic Show. Okay.
Hello.
Hey.
Sorry for that random blast of 80s there. I was just getting off of the YouTubes.
I didn't even notice. Like, at all.
Good. Take On Me was playing.
Take on me, take on me, take me on, take on me,
I'll be Wow.
Yeah, that's what 6 years of choir can do.
That's how we start the episode.